Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is the Chronicles of Apple from the Apple of My Eye, and I'm going to go over some things about Israel and why I support Israel and why I am promoting human trafficking awareness. And this is one of the shirts that has the bear. Okay. Stop human trafficking. So, what is human trafficking? Human trafficking is as simple as uh, manipulation and control of the vulnerable individual in whatever place it is in the world, okay, whether it's here in the United States, in Timbuktu in the Philippines, whether it is in Australia, whether it's in Middle East, whether it's in Poland, anywhere in the world. There are human beings that are being abducted. Okay, there are human beings that are being drugged up. There are human beings that are being manipulated for the purpose of sexual exploitation, work exploitation, or basically slavery. There's also organ harvesting for human trafficking. There's basically the demands for human beings is just exorbitant. This is a $30 billion at the very least network, and it's happening all over the world. It is tied up with narcotics, and it is a very lucrative business for a lot of exploiters and criminals, that they literally, the drug dealers switches off to the human trafficking. And with this human trafficking, the one of the example we can see out of human trafficking is what is going on in Israel. Okay, what happened in October 7 is basically simple, crazy abduction, maiming, raping, killing, you name it, all forms of violence that is acted upon people who are just living their daily life. This is why this is very tragic. When you take a country like Israel, who is already pushed around, okay, and I'll tell you a little bit about the history as quickly as I can. In the First World War, that is when you see the Ottoman Empire partnering with Germany, and their goal is to annihilate as many people as possible, and it is called genetic cleansing. Okay, that the less than people need to be eliminated for the purpose of the world to flourish, and that is the indoctrination from an occultic um, standpoint. Okay, this is not Christianity, it is occultism. Other than that, it is Satanism. Occultic practice is straight up satanic. Okay, so Hitler was never alone. Hitler was not like this amazing man that came from the rubble and showed up, and all of a sudden everybody was mesmerized and they got to put him on a pulpit. No, he is practically groomed. This person is groomed to be the epitome of hell on earth, okay, during that time. But the First World War, actually, that's not quite Hitler. It is basically Ottoman Empire and Germany, and the Ottoman Empire took control of Jerusalem for 401 years. So it's a very long time. The Ottoman Empire, the empire meaning Turkey, okay? So if you think about Turkey and you consider like an expanded form of Turkey, that's the empire. That's the Ottoman Empire. Ottoman Empire, you got to realize, basically left Israel looking like, for lack of better terms, it was like, I don't know if I should say it. Maybe I shouldn't. It just looked like a pile of rubble. I mean, I wanted to use the S word, but it was just kind of like, it was just desert and just desolate. Like literally like a bold piece of land that is basically old, decrepit, and useless. Okay. That's how the Ottoman Empire kept Israel. Okay. There are pictures of those in case you're not sure. So the Ottoman Empire came about, okay, for all these years, okay, and The goal is world domination, okay? And you have from 1776, which is kind of like it looked like the American independence, but actually there is a guy named Adam Weishaupt. You'd have to do some research on the Freemasonry, and Freemasonry is basically like an offshoot of like a sprout. It's like a sprout of from the, there's Crusades, and then later on there were Freemasons, okay? These Freemasons are not the godly ones. These Freemasons are completely godless people that basically have the idea of not being controlled by the government, a very independent entity on the side of Satan. Okay. So Freemasonry is basically the stumbling block. Okay. Their stumbling block is Jesus Christ, because the stone that the builders have rejected is the cornerstone, and the cornerstone is Jesus Christ. It's not a capstone, but a cornerstone. So the cornerstone that is avoided by the builders, which is the Masons, is actually Jesus Christ. Okay. So trying to build on planet Earth without God, okay, is technically like a big summation of what you consider Masonic. Okay. So basically, they lure statesmen, talented people, people with money, people with land. Okay, those are the statesmen, the dukes. Okay, they basically had infiltrated from 1776. Okay, the in Bavaria, the Jesuit priest, along with Adam Weishaupt, had developed Freemasonry. And Freemasonry is, when you look at lodges all over the world, that's part of Freemasonry of today. Some of them more open, some of them more clandestine, and it goes deep, dark, and gloomy. Okay. The higher the echelon of these Freemasonry, the more secretive it becomes, and the more demonic it becomes. And I'm not going to go into that. So there is that entity that basically wants to rub off kingdoms off of the land that the Lord has placed. Okay, there are kings and queens all over the world, and the goal of the Freemasonry is to replace all of those royalties with their own people that they can control. Okay, so that is the puppet, like a puppet government. Okay, one example what's going on in the United States, and I'm not going to get deep into that because for obvious reasons we know that our president does not seem right. Okay, so if you were to look at what's going on in Israel right now, it is basically because after, First World War is basically precipitated from all of the kings and queens being assassinated. They were being assassinated left and right. And then a new form of government would come in. It could look democratic or it could look more communistic.